Breaking tonight, the new information just in on the search for Nancy Guthrie. Police now possibly looking for a vehicle. The new message regarding Savannah Guthrie's mother that the FBI now says they are analyzing. Plus the new video from Savannah's brother and how police are now going through traffic camera footage. What the sheriff told us today. Also tonight, dangerous cold threatening millions from Maine to North Carolina. Car after car spitting out on a snowy highway. Are Bill Cairns timing it out? President Trump posting then taking down a racist Truth Social post depicting the Obamas as apes. The outrage from both sides of the aisle. Securing Super Bowl 60. We're in the air and on the water in San Francisco as the massive security operation gets underway. What it takes to protect more than 1 million people. Let the games begin. The incredible 2026 Winter Olympic opening ceremonies. Thousands of athletes coming together to live out their dreams on the world stage. Plus a car bursting into flames on a busy highway. Cars driving through a wall of fire. What happened next? Thieves caught on camera rappelling from a ceiling into a bar. The bizarre heist straight out of a movie. And actor Timothy Busfield indicted on child sex abuse charges by a grand jury. What his lawyer is telling our Chloe Malas. Top story starts right now. Breaking tonight, the new information just in on the search for Nancy Guthrie. Police now possibly looking for a vehicle. The new message regarding Savannah Guthrie's mother that the FBI now says they are analyzing. Plus the new video from Savannah's brother and how police are now going through traffic camera footage. What the sheriff told us today. Also tonight, dangerous cold threatening millions from Maine to North Carolina. Car after car spitting out on a snowy highway. Are Bill Cairns timing it out? President Trump posting then taking down a racist Truth Social post depicting the Obamas as apes. The outrage from both sides of the aisle. Securing Super Bowl 60. We're in the air and on the water in San Francisco as the massive security operation gets underway. What it takes to protect more than 1 million people. Let the games begin. The incredible 2026 Winter Olympic opening ceremonies. Thousands of athletes coming together to live out their dreams on the world stage. Plus a car bursting into flames on a busy highway. Cars driving through a wall of fire. What happened next? Thieves caught on camera rappelling from a ceiling into a bar. The bizarre heist straight out of a movie. And actor Timothy Busfield indicted on child sex abuse charges by a grand jury. What his lawyer is telling our Chloe Malas. Top story starts right now. And good evening. I'm Ellison Barber in for Tom. We begin tonight once again with the desperate search for Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, and the new possible message investigators just received. Police say they still have no suspects or persons of interest in the case after the 84-year-old was taken from her home nearly a week ago. But tonight we are learning more about a new potential message regarding Nancy. Right now we do not know if it is real or who sent it, but we know the FBI is actively investigating it. It comes as NBC News has reviewed a copy of what authorities have described as a possible ransom note sent to 3 news organizations this week. Details in this letter are consistent with descriptions provided by the FBI, including last night's 5 o'clock deadline and another for this coming Monday. The sheriff in Pima County telling NBC News that investigators are scouring footage from hundreds of traffic cameras in the area, hoping to find any leads, but a major challenge, how dark that footage might be. This video taken by NBC News shows what it looks like driving at night in this desert region. It is nearly pitch black. And now tonight, we are also learning police are possibly looking for a vehicle. NBC's Liz Kreutz leads us off tonight from Arizona with the latest.
Tonight, during the agonizing wait for answers, now 6 days into the search for Nancy Guthrie, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department say they are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie and are actively inspecting it for its authenticity. Authorities have not said what the message contains, but NBC News has reviewed a copy of what authorities describe as a possible ransom note sent to 3 news organizations earlier this week. The contents of that first letter are consistent with the descriptions provided by the FBI, including the 2 deadlines, last night at 5 and this coming Monday.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you.
Moments after the first deadline passed from that original ransom note, Savannah posted this video of her brother pleading for whoever may have taken their 84-year-old mother to send proof of life.
We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom.
It's unclear if the new message tonight is connected. Experts say waiting is now all the family can do.
Captors are the ones in control right now. They are controlling everything from information to the health and well-being of Savannah's mother. And they're also gating the ability to be in contact with them or not.
This as investigators on the ground continue their search. The sheriff tells us they've now spoken to everyone who regularly worked at Nancy's home.
I think there was a landscape crew, a pool maintenance crew, maybe a housekeeper. They've all been very cooperative. They provided certain information that was helpful to us.
Detectives are also still searching the neighborhoods for any video evidence.
We also go outside to our businesses and say, could you do us a favor? And every camera you have facing out to the roadways, get us that. And we've gotten some great response from different large businesses.
This is one of the biggest intersections close to Nancy Guthrie's home. Beyond just the businesses, they're also looking at the cameras on these street lights. In fact, the sheriff tells us they have the footage from here, along with every intersection with cameras across the city.
Part of the challenge finding footage from those overnight hours is that the residential area is also extremely dark with few street lights. This is what it looks like driving at night. The disappearance of Savannah's mom igniting an outpouring of love from her fans to her dearest friends. Today, Hoda joining the Today Show.
I think there's like this helpless feeling. I mean, we're all so close with her and we all want to help her. And like, I'm looking at us and I was thinking like, who was first in the hospital room when Hope was sick? Savannah.
Right.
Who hopped on a plane when your parents?
Oh my gosh.
Savannah.
First person.
Who was sitting by Uche? How about when your brother passed?
Savannah.
I mean, she was there, and I was thinking this morning. I was like, what? You know, they say like love is patient, like love is kind, like we'll be patient, and put prayers up, and
that's all we can do.
You know, that's all we can do.
Feeling of helplessness.
Yeah.
And we're not helpless because it's prayer.
Yeah.
It's hope.
We got that.
Mm-hmm. Prayer and hope. Prayer and hope.
Prayers and hope, exactly what the family is asking for.
And Liz Kreutz joins us now from Tucson. So, Liz, what can you tell us now about this possible vehicle of interest?
Yeah, well, Ellison, we should say that we do not know if ultimately this will be connected to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, but NBC News has learned that law enforcement received a tip about a vehicle or vehicles of interest at a local Circle K gas station. A spokesperson for Circle K confirms to NBC News that authorities did show up at one of their stores in this area and reviewed their surveillance footage, and now they're cooperating with this investigation. We should also tell you that within the past hour, several federal agents have shown up at the house of Nancy Guthrie, and they've actually cleared the streets, asked all the media who have been outside to leave that area, and kind of closed it down while they go what seems to be some follow-up investigations. The timing of this seems to be happening not long after that local TV station received that new message. Ellison.
NBC's Liz Kreutz on the ground in Arizona. Thank you. We appreciate it. I want to bring in NBC's national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent, Tom Winter, for more on this. Tom, I know you have been talking to law enforcement sources all day. I mean, really, since all of this began. But in terms of tonight and the latest developments, what are your sources telling you?
Well, a couple of things. And let's talk about that letter that came in, because that's really where kind of our reporting is centering around. You've got the physical evidence and everything that's going on with that. And we just heard from Liz about this possible vehicle, which may or may not be connected with it. But that letter, of course, getting a second one. And what we're being told about this came into KOLD TV, which is an Arizona station. And it came in kind of the same way that the last one came in. It was also the station that received the letter last time. So that was of interest to authorities. They're still trying to confirm the authenticity in the origin of the email. So they've got a couple of things that they've got to do here. They've got to figure out whether or not this is legit from whoever may have been involved in the abduction and what happened that night, 6 nights ago, with Nancy Guthrie. They got to see then if it's connected to the first letter that came in, and then they still have to figure out if the first letter is connected to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie as well. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done here. On top of that, Ellison, we're now being told that apparently these emails, the way that they're being sent, makes it very difficult for authorities to kind of track down to figure out who sent them. That work is going to take some time in the backdrop of the fact that we all know that we're on a race against the clock here in the most intense sense. So, look, this is going to be a challenge. It's going to take a while with these letters, with these emails, to try to confirm everything that's involved with it. We don't have a lot of details on the content tonight. This just all adds up to the continual agonizing wait for the Guthrie family. And I cannot imagine tonight, in light of this, what they must be going through.
Yeah, I mean, our thoughts are with them, as they have been all week. NBC's Tom Winter, thank you so much. We appreciate you. For more on the investigation, we are also joined by Dan Bruner. He's a former FBI special agent with 20 years of experience in crisis management. Dan, thank you for being here. We just heard from our team that police are now possibly looking into a vehicle. As Liz was reporting, it may or may not be connected to the investigation. We don't know much about it at this point, but how important of a lead could this be?
Well, I think every lead is important. Every possible lead is important until it's determined to be not important. So every lead will be given the equivalent is strength of the FBI investigating team. So there's lots of things that could crack open. It's just need one little information, one little tidbit information. Comparing the van, if we've got the description of the van, comparing the van against the cell towers in the area. If that van is seen at the Circle K gas station, what cell phones are similar to the cell phones that were in that area and at the house? So there's a lot of pieces that can be put together to determine if there is a fingerprint that's coming off of that van, whether it be cellular technology or GPS technology, that could give a tip, a lead, something for the investigators to work with. This is a multifaceted major case investigation. So it's not just a few people working this case. This is Quantico, Behavioral Analysis Unit, analyzing these notes, reading the notes, looking at the language of how it's written, and all of the physical evidence that's there. This is a multifaceted major case. So this is absolutely, no holds barred by FBI.
Yeah, I mean, as you're touching on that latest message, and again, I want to reiterate that we do not know at this point if it is real or what is in it, but we do know the FBI has said they are investigating it. And as Tom Winter was reporting, it came to an Arizona local news station that had received the other letter that the FBI was also investigating, and it came in a similar way. In terms of an investigative standpoint, how do you start trying to piece together or connect dots with that?
I'd look at the origin of how the message came in and what was the method. Was it digitally provided? From my understanding is they have an IP address that is different from the first message. These are two different IP addresses. So but it's being masked. So in other words, they're using a VPN, a virtual private network. So to mask it, to make it look like it's coming from somewhere else. So that is a lead to understand that these individuals are skilled and are attempting to mask their presence. But the fact that they provided it to a local station there in Arizona and not to a major news like TMZ or the Today Show, it's very interesting as to where they're going with this. They definitely want more attention to themselves, because if they truly were looking for ransom money, they'd be communicating directly with the family themselves, saying this is about money. But this is, I think, is starting to become more not about money, but more about the incident, the image of who they're kidnapping, and whatever their message is. I'm thinking that we may hear it coming in the future now that this is getting more and more attention.
And Dan, we know the family is working with local authorities as well as the FBI. The FBI has said that they offer advice and guidance in these kinds of situations. But we heard the special agent in charge there in the press conference the other day reiterating they do not tell families what to do. Walk us through the typical procedure for that. And in terms of advice on next steps, given that there is this second deadline allegedly in that letter that the FBI considers to be something worth investigating, what is next?
Well, the FBI definitely does not advise paying the ransom. They don't want the ransom because it's just beholden the next, groups or to conduct kidnapping. So they will say that we don't recommend that. But they understand if the family or the company or the business decides to pay a ransom to recover their family member, their business colleagues, or something along those lines. So the FBI there is going to be there to provide guidance, to make suggestions. such as the first statement by Savannah Guthrie a few days ago, I'm sure that the FBI was there, provided them guidance on what words, what keywords to bring empathy to, and to get personalized Savannah's mother in using certain keywords. Mommy, we miss you. So that they're not looking for the kidnapper. The person who's in charge of this is determined to conduct this attack. What they're looking is they're trying to target someone else in the periphery, someone else who's assisting in this kidnapping, getting them to break, getting them to feel sorry, and getting them to possibly call local law enforcement or provide a tip or release her. Those are the things that they're looking for. Those are the people they're targeting. They're not targeting the kidnapper because that person is determined to conduct this. It's somebody else on the outside, and hopefully one of these messages gets through.
All right, Dan Bruner, thank you so much. We appreciate your time and insights. And for our viewers, there is that FBI tip line number on your screen. Authorities are still saying they need the public's help and any tip. Thank you so much, Dan. We appreciate it. Now to our other major headline, that dangerous Arctic blast threatening millions. In Pennsylvania, at least one person was killed in a series of crashes involving 24 vehicles on a major highway. Heavy snow quickly coating the roads at the time. And in Washington, D.C., crews using pickaxes to clear ice and snow before freezing temperatures settle in this weekend. Let's get right to NBC's meteorologist Bill Caron. So, Bill, it's been a brutal few weeks of frigid temperatures, and the coldest air of the season is on the way.
Yeah, it's already cold. It's really hard to believe that, it's going to get even worse, but we're all going to do it firsthand this weekend in the Great Lakes and into areas of the Northeast. So 95 million people are included in this. It's the same people that have been suffering for the last couple of weeks. So where's the cold air? It's in central Canada, and it's racing now to the Northeast. Negative 29 wind chill, negative 39, negative 36. This is the air, and it's going over the top of that deep snowpack, so it's not really going to warm up much, and that's why it's going to be so cold. So this is Saturday's temperature shown in black, and then wind chill in white. And this is the lowest of the day in all locations. So you notice Cleveland, negative 18 gets dangerous, and especially Sunday morning, very dangerous. And anywhere, especially at any higher elevations, you're talking negative 30 to negative 40. Burlington, negative 26. New York at negative 12. This is the peak of it. So if there's any silver lining, it can't get much worse than what we're going to deal with on Sunday. The winds will also be gusty. We could have isolated power outages from D.C. all the way to the areas like Ocean City, Atlantic City. And we're also going to get a coating of snow, a little sneaky snowstorm, especially for our friends Providence to the Boston area. Someone in here could get 3 to 5 inches of snow. And I recommend getting out early tomorrow and getting rid of that snow, because otherwise you're going to do it in the high winds and these really, really dangerous wind chills as we go throughout the weekend. Allison, there's better news ahead. We just have to get through this weekend. Right. This is about as bad as it gets. We're going to check back in with you as soon as you have better news for us, too. NBC's Bill Caron, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Now to a rare reversal from the White House, a racist post from President Trump's Truth Social account depicting former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. It was deleted just hours after the White House doubled down on it. Senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake reports as public outrage grows.
Tonight, facing bipartisan backlash, a rare reversal from the Trump White House, taking down a video reposted by the president's social media account. After the Senate's only black Republican, South Carolina's Tim Scott, a strong Trump supporter, called the decision to repost it, quote, "the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House." The AI-generated video depicting Barack and Michelle Obama as apes was reposted by the president's Truth Social account just before midnight and deleted this morning. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt initially defended reposting the video, writing, "This is from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Please stop the fake outrage." But after Scott's stinging criticism and more Republicans piling on, the abrupt U-turn, with a White House official telling NBC News a, quote, staffer erroneously made the initial repost. It comes after Tom pressed the president about inflammatory posts he amplifies on Truth Social, including about election integrity.
Some theories about Italians and satellites. I mean, do you believe that stuff?
No, I didn't cheat. I sometimes will retweet.
Yeah.
All as a New York Times analysis of satellite images shows Iran appears to have made only limited fixes to major nuclear sites destroyed by the U.S. The president also told Tom Iran is looking to rebuild.
Are they trying to restart the nuclear program?
Well, I heard that they are, and if they do, and I let them know, if they do, we're going to send them right back and do their job again.
And Garrett Haake joins us now from the White House. So, Garrett, this reversal was an unusual response from the White House today under an unusual amount of pressure from Republicans.
Yeah, Ellison, consider the context here. I spent the entirety of the first Trump term covering Congress. The idea that Republicans would come out on their own accord on social media to condemn this post both before it was taken down and especially afterwards is just so unusual. This wasn't reporters sticking microphones in the faces of members of Congress and forcing them to comment on this. These members are at home in their districts, and they took it upon themselves to raise this issue and keep raising it long after the White House had taken down the post. It's difficult to overstate the degree to which this is a major break for Republicans who have found almost nothing to criticize under any circumstance regarding this president.
NBC's Garrett Haake at the White House tonight. Thank you. And we're back in a moment with the countdown to kickoff. Inside the massive security operation ahead of the Super Bowl and a look at the big game numbers, from betting odds to food and ticket prices. Plus, actor Timothy Busfield indicted, the disturbing charges he's facing and how his legal team is responding. And the fiery highway explosion, a vehicle bursting into flames, forcing cars to drive through the fireball. Stay with us. Back now with the massive operation to keep the big game safe. The Super Bowl is almost here, but for federal and local law enforcement, it's a mission they've been planning for over a year. NBC's Steve Patterson got an up-close look.
Tonight, the air above Super Bowl 60, protected by military might, backed up by deadly force. Armed Air Force F-15 jets locked and loaded for potential threats, 30 nautical miles of airspace around the stadium, close to all traffic. The Coast Guard patrolling the waters near Levi's Stadium. And Black Hawk helicopters ready to deploy tactical teams at a moment's notice. Customs and Border Protection's air and marine operation keeps a constant vigil, monitoring the ground, prepared for low and slow threats like aircraft or even drones.
The Super Bowl is a Tier 1 event. It's one of the most complicated security operations all year. Thousands of law enforcement officers all coming together to keep this area secure.
With an estimated 1.3 million people flying through San Francisco's International Airport for the big game, taking part in more than 250 events before kickoff, police here focused on a strong ground game.
All days off being canceled. Everyone's been deployed out to work. We're really saturating the city with ground-level police officers.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for being out here. Appreciate you guys.
San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie is proud to say crime in his city dropped 25% last year. We met up with him at the police department's state-of-the-art real-time investigation center. Dozens of digital age operators using a fleet of cameras and drones to spot threats.
The message that we are sending to the world is that you don't come to San Francisco to commit crime any longer. We're going to catch you and we're going to prosecute you. And they're doing incredible work here.
And Steve Patterson joins us now from San Francisco. So, Steve, what do we know about the possibility of any sort of ICE activity around Sunday's game?
You know, Ellison, of course, there's some worry about that, but right now we can tell you what the NFL is saying. Their officials are very confident that there is no planned ICE immigration activity or operation during kickoff. Ellison?
Steve Patterson in San Francisco. Thank you. The excitement is building with the big game just 2 days away. Whether you're a diehard Seahawks or Patriots fan, or you're just in it for Bad Bunny and the commercials, NBC's Emily Lorsch is here to break down Super Bowl Sunday by the numbers for us. So, Emily, let's start with the big picture. What do we need to know about these two teams going head to head?
Ellison, everyone is so excited. The Super Bowl is just a couple of days now away. And so this is the 12th Super Bowl for the New England Patriots. Pats fans are really excited. The Pats have won 6 Super Bowls in the past. They're hoping out for a 7th. They're facing off against the Seattle Seahawks. It's their 50th season in the NFL. And the Super Bowl, we will also get a chance to see the second youngest starting quarterback in Super Bowl history. That's Drake May. He's 23 years old from North Carolina. And then also DraftKings here lists Seattle as the 4.5-point favorite. Now, I want to take that a bit further and dive deeper into the prediction market here. This is according to Call Sheet. This is not typically the map of the United States in blue and red states that we see, but this is a bit more, this is a fun alternative. So you could take a look here at the prediction market, and mostly blue, right, for the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, Pats fans over here in New England, but also Georgia and South Carolina here, Allison, seem to be thinking that maybe they can get a win for the Pats.
I mean, Georgia's my home state. We will surprise you on our predictions sometime. But hey, look, Emily, the Super Bowl is so much more than just the game itself, right? You have the commercials, the halftime show, and you have some polling on what Americans like most.
Absolutely. Everyone comes out to watch either at a friend's house or at a bar for a different reason. But we will be seeing more than 213 million adults planning to watch the game. 43% of those people say it is, in fact, the game that they're hoping to watch. But Bad Bunny's going to be out there for the halftime show. 21% of people say it's actually the halftime show that they're most excited for, with 18% of people saying it's the commercials. Now, Bad Bunny will be performing. There's a lot of buzz surrounding this. This will be the first Super Bowl halftime show that's predominantly in another language. He's been saying he's really going to bring the culture here. So there's a lot of excited about that halftime show. Now, he's also a worldwide top artist, has almost 20 billion streams last year on Spotify, top album as well. And now there hasn't really been a three-peat in terms of, that three-peat of 3 Super Bowls in a row. However, Bad Bunny's got a three-peat here, 2020, 2021, and 2022. So he's got, in music terms, he's got that record handled.
In music terms, he's one of the GOATs. I mean, talk to me, though, about the cost, right? Because halftime show, game in person, we're talking thousands per seat, right?
Allison, that's why I'm not going. Only reason. No, so the median price for a ticket is just more than $7,500. However, if you're saying, I don't care, throw me in the nosebleeds, I just want to see little ants out there, we looked that up, and just under $4,100 just to get in and be able to see this face-off. Now, mostly, this isn't super surprising, but mostly it's going to be Seahawks fans, 61% Seahawks fans, 39% Pats fans. Of course, that is because of location. We got those West Coast fans out there being able to, go out to the game more conveniently.
All right. NBC's Emily Lorish, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Stay with us because coming up, rooftop robbery. Cameras capturing the moment burglars ransack a bar after rappelling down through the ceiling. Plus, a historic milestone for the markets. What's driving the record run on Wall Street? But first, top stories, top moment, and Bad Bunny mania setting in ahead of the megastar's Super Bowl performance. The streets of San Francisco filled with Bad Bunny fans gathering for a look-alike contest. 30 people competed, but just one was victorious. He goes by Abdul Bunny, coming all the way from Mexico to compete for the $100 prize and glorious bragging rights. Stay with us. More top story on the way. Back now with Top Stories news feed, starting with a record day for the stock market. The Dow soaring more than 1,200 points. And police in Georgia say rapper Lil Jon's 27-year-old son, Nathan Smith, was found dead in a pond. Smith, also known as DJ Young Slade, was reported missing Tuesday morning after being seen running out of his home. Officials say his cause of death is still to be determined, but so far there are no signs of foul play. Lil Jon says he and Smith's mother are extremely heartbroken for the loss of their son. And dramatic video of a car engulfed in flames, shutting down a part of I-95 in Florida. You can see the wall of flames across the road from the burning car, with cars even driving through that massive inferno. No word yet on what sparked the fire, but Florida Highway Patrol say somehow and amazingly no one was hurt here. Shocking video of 2 robbers rappelling into a Kansas bar through the roof. Look at this. You can see them dropping in from the ceiling before breaking open what appears to be some sort of game machine. Police saying they've arrested one of the suspects and are working to track down the other. Right now, it is still unclear what was stolen. An update in the case against Timothy Busfield. The former West Wing actor is accused of sexually abusing 2 young boys who appeared on a Fox series he directed and acted in. Today, a grand jury in New Mexico indicting Buzzfield on 4 counts of criminal sexual contact of a child. The 68-year-old was arrested less than a month ago after turning himself in to law enforcement. Buzzfield has denied all of the allegations against him. NBC's entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas is following the case and joins us now on set with more. So, Chloe, take us through what we heard today from the district attorney and also Buzzfield's legal team.
You know, what I found really interesting, Ellison, from the district attorney in New Mexico is they say at one point Mr. Buzzfield is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law, right? So they're saying, although the grand jury has come out and decided that we are going to move forward with, bringing these charges of 4 counts of criminal sexual contact of a child from the TV show that he worked on from 2022 to 2024, the Warner Brothers show The Cleaning Lady, which Buzzfield starred and directed in, of these 2 young child actors. They're saying, reserve judgment until this potential trial. But I do want to just tell you that Buzzfield's civil attorney, who, although is not the criminal attorney behind this case, he is the one kind of the frontward facing in the media. I spoke to him on the phone today and he released this statement. Larry Stein saying that the indictment was not unexpected. As the saying goes, a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. But what is deeply concerning is that the district attorney is choosing to proceed on a case that is fundamentally unsound and cannot be proven at trial. What they have maintained all along, Ellison, is that these claims were investigated by Warner Brothers in the spring when the parents of these 2 young boys came forward with these allegations of sexual misconduct on the set. And Warner Brothers hired an independent law firm to investigate these claims, and they found no merit, right? And so Timothy Buzzfield's legal team is really relying on that. And who were those eyewitnesses at the time on set that spoke to that independent third-party legal team? And could they be potentially bringing those people in to testify on Buzzfield's behalf?
Interesting. Okay, so Buzzfield was released from jail after a pretty contentious detention hearing back in January, right? Is he behind bars tonight? And in terms of next steps, do we know when this trial could begin?
So he is out right now, and he will be out until it goes to trial potentially in the next 6 to 8 months. And so Buzzfield now has to really beef up his criminal defense team and figure out what the strategy is going to be. And as you remember, this whole thing started as sort of a wild goose chase because nobody knew where Timothy Buzzfield was at the time, or so it seemed. And U.S. Marshals were even enlisted to try to find him. But his legal team said that all along he wanted to turn himself in on his own, that he wanted to cooperate with New Mexico authorities, that they weren't cooperating with him at the time, that he knew that these charges were coming. And ultimately, he did drive across the country, turned himself in. And you might remember he spoke to TMZ and released this video at the time saying, I'm going to fight this. Yeah, right. And at that bail hearing, the judge said that Timothy Buzzfield did not pose a threat to the community, to society, which is why he let him out, because he did not have a criminal record here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, you never really know if things are actually going to go to trial, as you cover many of these trials. So we'll see what happens. But this is really significant that this grand jury has chosen to indict him.
NBC's Chloe Malas, excellent reporting. Thank you. We appreciate it. Turning now to top stories, Global Watch, and starting in Russia, where a senior military official is now in the hospital after getting shot inside of a residential building in Moscow. Authorities say the 64-year-old lieutenant general was shot multiple times by an alleged gunman who they say is still at large. It is the latest in a series of recent attacks on the country's top military brass. And crowds evacuating from a train in Hong Kong today after someone's portable charger erupted into flames. Look at this video. You can see smoke filling the car as people scramble to put out the fire. It appeared to break out inside of that black bag. Police telling local media there no one was hurt. And the European Union announcing new charges against TikTok. Regulators are accusing it of violating the bloc's online content rules over what they describe as the app's addictive features. They're now calling on TikTok to change its design or face fines up to 6% of its parent company's global revenue. A TikTok spokesperson telling NBC News that the accusations here are categorically false and meritless. We're back now, and the 2026 Winter Olympic Games are officially underway. For the first time ever, the opening ceremony featured 2 Olympic cauldrons, one in Milan and one in Cortina. Their simultaneous lighting meant to symbolize harmony. That's the theme of the ceremony this year. NBC's Stephanie Gosk is in Milan tonight, in the heart of it all. So, Stephanie, the opening ceremonies, they were quite a spectacle today, right? Mariah Carey performing. Yeah. What are the big moments that stood out to you?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the moments actually just happened a few minutes ago. They lit the cauldron here in Milan, and from our vantage point, you see the Duomo behind me, but just down the road a little bit is what they call the Arch of Peace, and that is where the cauldron here in Milan is. And as you mentioned, this is the first time in Olympic history that they've had two official host cities. They lit those cauldrons simultaneously. The other really cool thing about the ceremony tonight is that instead of just one parade of nations, there were actually 4 parades of nations: Milan, Cortina, Livigno, and Predazzo. So there are athletes really strewn across northern Italy. You got a good sense of that, but you also had a good sense tonight of the Italian culture, some of their humor. There was a whole skit done by one of their comedians that basically just spelled out all the hand signals that Italians use in this country and what they mean. It was a great moment of levity. So, yeah, the games are off and running.
So Team USA, Stephanie, the figure skaters hit the ice today, right? In the team competition, how are they doing so far?
They're doing great. They're in first place, really led by Madison Chalk and Evan Bates. They're the dominant pair in ice dancing, and they went out and had one of the best performances of their lives today. And you also had a couple of other performances, too. The way the team competition works, Ellison, is there are 8 sessions. They combine the scores in the sessions, and then that determines who the winner is. The U.S. team is actually the defending champion, and tomorrow, on Saturday, it could be our first chance to see the quad god himself, Ilya Malinin.
Okay, so curling, everybody's favorite sport every 4 years, I guess. That actually started early, and the mixed doubles competition continued today. How is Team USA doing? They're gaining some momentum?
Yes, well, the mixed doubles team is actually 4-0, and they're both named Corey. It's Corey TC and Corey Dropkin, and they are doing spectacularly well. There was really a funny moment where Corey Dropkin's mom was in the stands, and she was sitting next to Snoop Dogg. And Corey Dropkin, after the match, said, "I'm not even sure my mom knows who Snoop Dogg is," but there he was, right alongside her with his arm around her.
I mean, now though, Snoop Dogg is also an American Olympic hero in my book. Let's talk medals while we
That's
have
right.
you.
An interesting career pivot for Snoop.
Right? It's like one of my favorite of all time, just Snoop and Martha Stewart, and then the Olympics. I was like, it can't get better from here, but it can though, right? Because medals come soon. When is the first opportunity for people to win a medal?
Yeah, so tomorrow the medals start coming in. The first is in the men's downhill. That's one of the hardest courses on the World Cup circuit, one of the most difficult. So that's going to be interesting. You also have the big air competition. There's a really great story. This 17-year-old U.S. Snowboarder, Ollie Martin, he actually qualified for the finals. He's the youngest on the big air and slopestyle team, so it'll be fun to watch him tomorrow as well, Allison.
It'll be so exciting. NBC's Stephanie Goss, also an American Olympic hero in my eyes. Thank you for staying up late with us. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching Top Story. For Tom Llamas, I'm Ellison Barber in New York. Stay right there. More news is on the way.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.